Hello everyone, this is Clayton Hall.
And I'm Dan Sigmund. Hi.
And we're the write-in candidates for the HNR school board. Last night there was a discussion at the HNR, or at the Neosho site, about the proposed referendum. There was a lot of very good points, very good discussion, calm discussion that was had last night, and it went quite well. After talking to some people asking me about where I stood on all of this, as being that I am a write-in candidate for the upcoming election, I guess I hadn't made it public yet my opinions and things that I'd like to see going forward. First and foremost, going forward, I think we as a community need to realize when this is all done and over with, however this goes, we are still a community. We are friends and neighbors. And we need to be respectful of everyone's opinions, and just because maybe your opinion isn't the same as mine and mine isn't the same as yours, that doesn't necessarily make it wrong or make us bad people. So at the end of this, I'd just like to say that, we all still need to be friends and neighbors, because we'll still run into each other at the gas station and out for a fish fry on Friday nights.
We still all want what's best for the district as a whole.
Right.
Yeah.
And that was the overall consensus that I think everyone had last night, was that everyone realizes something needs to be done. No one thinks that this is a problem that will just go away if we ignore it. And with that, some of the plans, I think, going forward in the event of the referendum not passing, that we still need to do something to address the aging facilities that we have. And people are going to have very different opinions on that. And it's very easy to discuss the finances involved with something like that, because in all honesty, that is the only thing in this that we can predict. The rest of it is, when is the roof going to fail? What is the enrollment going to be? Those are projections. We don't honestly know.
Clay, I think what's also a little fuzzy is how much maintenance is needed, how soon.
Right.
I mean, we can't know that, and that's why I did go through both buildings, and I told Scott to show me the worst, because I wanted to see what's the very worst. And I personally believe that what we've been told is very fluid. I don't think it's going to be in 20 years what they say it's going to be for 20 years to keep these buildings up to snuff. So that's something else we can talk about too.
Right. And the other thing is, you mentioned the 20-year time frame that this whole thing is projected out. The one thing that I think people should consider, if we were to do maintenance on these buildings, that allows us the flexibility in 5 years, in 10 years, in 7 years to change the direction that we had with the school district. Whereas if we follow through with just a 20-year referendum, we're locked in, we're on that train, there's no getting off.
I have an example. In the year 2000, the Rubicon School built on because there was 3 new subdivisions supposed to come into the town. And what happened? Nothing. I mean, 2 subdivisions never have even begun to be established yet, and the first subdivision finally sold the last lot, but there's not a lot of children in it. So there again, when we consolidated, all that debt from that referendum was then paid off through that consolidation. We don't know the future, and I think that the future now is even more uncertain than it was back in the year 2000. So we need flexibility. It's very important to have flexibility. I agree.
Right.
I agree.
And that's something that you would achieve with an operational referendum or other smaller projects going forward.
Which means we have to have a plan, right?
Yes.
So I think there needs to be some sort of maintenance plan. There might be one. I haven't heard.
And that's the thing. We haven't heard from the current board on what was discussed, if anything, all the discussion during the school board meetings has been in closed session, so there is no public record of any of it as far as what was discussed and how we got to this point. Other than the current single site consolidation or single site plan.
Choice between the two or the single, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so nothing, it's hard to say what you don't know. And my personal feelings going forward is we need to have more discussion before we go any one direction in any of this.
You know what I would like to see, or would have liked to see, and if Clay and I get on the board, I know we will see this, more work, more due diligence to have actually, the word is options because that's what they call it. Maybe there's two possibilities for a single site. Maybe there's even two possibilities for a two-building site. Maybe there's a whole nother possibility somewhere. We need to get that all on the board. We need to have possibilities here, and let's look at it all, pros and cons, and then still let's just have options on how to maintain these buildings. I mean, they've been standing for 60 years. When I went through them, I believe they'll still be standing for another 40 years. I mean, they are not falling apart. The Neosho building has been neglected, I will say that, but it's not past the point of no return, not yet. So I really do believe there are extra possibilities that we need to get into your view so that you can help us all decide what to do.
And as a community, I think everyone should bring their expertise to the table.
That would be nice, yeah.
You know, we've got a lot of very intelligent, very well-educated and knowledgeable people in the community. And if I'm not a structural engineer by any stretch of the imagination, but I do know people in the community that are. And it would be great if when these things come up, if some of the community members would give their opinion on the matters, because they know better than I do. And I think we have that knowledge base within our community, and it would be a great resource to use.
And I believe we need this, these other possibilities, because this referendum plan just doesn't seem to fit in my eyes. In my mind, it just doesn't seem to fit Dodge County here. It doesn't seem to fit our district. We're in a negative population growth. Really, when you look at the demographics that were in the study, the major load for this is going to fall on 25% of the community, those between the age of 44 and 64, that have become established and their kids are older and they have the ability to be able to take on this kind of storm, this kind of referendum. But the young couples, I mean, there's those in school, then there's the young couples working, trying to get their jobs established, starting to raise a family. You have the retired individuals that are on a fixed income. This is not coming at a good time in Dodge County. So we need to look at something else, and Clay and I want to look at something else. And that's why we're here today again.
Yeah, that's exactly right, Dan. And, you know, comparing HNR to the other K through 12 districts around us as far as the taxable rates, if this referendum did pass, we would end up 18% higher than the next closest one in our surrounding area, thus discouraging some families from coming here and possibly having a self-fulfilling prophecy type of an effect of, we raise the taxes too high, we lose enrollment.
Could backfire.
Yeah. You know, and that's something that I think, again, needs to be discussed and considered.
Mm-hmm. No doubt. So let's keep that in mind. We urge you to call us, either Clay or I, anytime. We'd love to talk with you. It's Facebook isn't the place to try to communicate. I don't know what you think.
There's a lot lost in blank text.
Yeah, we'd love to talk to you, or we don't live that far away. Stop by.
Right.
Give us a call. We'll come by you. We really want your input. We want this to work for everybody. And I believe it really can. So we just wanted to present that to you. There is another way. We believe we're not just out there just to keep the costs down. We're there to really, we're not afraid to spend money,
Right.
or we wouldn't be farming, right?
Right.
But we want to do it responsibly. We want to do it responsibly, and we believe there is a more responsible way of doing this. So, anything else you want to add?
That sounds good to me.
All right. We'll catch you again.